When I think about top-tier heist movies, many come to mind. Like for example, Heat, Baby Driver, A Place Beyond the Pines, Inception, the Ocean's movies. All these movies have a unique quality to them, something that distinguishes them from the rest. But there is one movie that I didn't mention there. One that doesn't get credit where credit is due. One that surpasses all in its ability to be incredibly unique. And that movie would be How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Now I know what some of you may be thinking. How the Grinch Stole Christmas is a children's movie. It has no right being regarded as a top-tier heist movie. And you know what I have to say to that?
Fuck your life! Bing bong!
How the Grinch Stole Christmas has every right to be regarded as a top-tier heist movie, especially if we consider heist movies like the Ocean's trilogy to be good. If we were expected to believe that George Clooney and Brad Pitt have the wit to pull off grand casino heists, then I can believe that The Grinch is one of the greatest heist movies ever made.
You're right. He's right.
And to prove that it is a top-tier heist movie, we'll have to go over 3 main points on why. The motive, the heist, and the outcome. All heist movies usually have a good reason for why the character is doing what they are doing. Whether it be they want to see their children again, pay off a debt they owe, or provide for their son, there is always something driving the character that we can usually connect to or understand. At first glance, the Grinch's motive to steal Christmas from the Who's seems simple at face value. He just hates Christmas.
Look, I don't want to make waves, but this whole Christmas season is stupid.
But in fact, his reasons for why he hates Christmas and wants to steal it are a lot more nuanced than that. Born an orphan, the Grinch faced constant prejudice from the Who's while growing up. He was always looked at as the other. Although he faced hardships, the Grinch still tried taking part in celebrating Christmas with the Who's. But after literally having his Christmas spirit smashed,
look at that hack job!
the Grinch felt that he had no place in Who society. So, the heartbroken Grinch left and became a trash-eating hermit. As the Grinch grew older, his hatred for the Who's and the holidays persisted. But even after many years of hatred and loneliness, the Grinch still gave Christmas and the Who's a second chance, showing a man not filled with hatred, but a man filled with fear, the fear of not being accepted. Joining them again on Christmas Eve, things went as he thought they would, terribly. His Christmas spirit was smashed again.
The gift of a Christmas shave.
This left the Grinch to confirm his beliefs, that what Christmas was for the Who's was nothing but a hollow shell of what Christmas should be. All it had become was a holiday of pure consumerism, and so, for all the prejudice he faced and all the hollowness that the Who's had, he plotted with vengeance to steal what the Who's cherished most: Christmas.
I'll get you, bitch! Get on the ground!
On a makeshift rocket-powered sled with Elon Musk landing technology, the Grinch went down to Whoville and broke into everyone's house, stealing all their presents, Christmas trees, and food. Now, I know what you're thinking. What kind of heist is this? How can this movie be considered top tier if the heist isn't even elaborate? Well, let's take a look at other heist movies to answer that. In some heist movies, like in Ocean's 11 or in The Italian Job, a huge elaborate heist is the story. We're there to watch them put together a smart-witted crew to pull off a huge score. Yes, there are some nuances and character growth, but there's nothing too serious to think about. The heist is what we're there for, and the heist is what we want. But then, there are those movies where the heist isn't the only point to the story, but rather, it's a shade to a bigger picture. It's there for us to experience something deeper. Like in A Place Beyond the Pines or in Good Time. In these movies, the heists are used to showcase something deeper about the characters. Not just about how witty they are or how elaborate of a plan they can come up with, but rather, they show a troubled father trying to provide for his son.
Everybody get down on the fucking floor!
Or a sociopathic man who uses his disabled brother and others to get what he needs.
I am better than you.
You're an ignorant fuck, bro.
The heists in these movies are important, but they're not the point to the story. They're just a point used in the story, and this is what I believe to be true for How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It's a top-tier heist movie, not just because of some elaborate plan, but because it simply has depth. We don't just see the Grinch stealing Christmas, but we see the Grinch trying to steal something what's been stolen from him. Happiness. Although the take is not that important, let's still figure out how much the Grinch stole. But before we can do that, let's first establish how many Whos are in Whoville. At first glance, the population of Whoville would seem small, but in fact, it's much larger than expected, with one scene showing the Grinch holding a large phone book of all the Who's phone numbers, suggesting many Whos are in Whoville. Then, to another scene, from the movie showing a hustling, bustling city with chaotic streets. And for the last piece of evidence, to prove my large population hypothesis, we'll have to take a look at the 1982 movie called The Grinch Grinches the Cat in the Hat. In this movie, it shows that Whoville is not some isolated city, but rather a part of a greater Whoville area. And so, with all this evidence, I believe it would be safe to put the population of Whoville at around 50,000. Okay, math time. If each Who were to get 3 presents, and each Who family had 1 tree, and a 30-pound dinner, that would mean there would be around 150,000 presents, around 25,000 Christmas trees, and around 750,000 pounds of food.
That's a lot of damage. How about a little more?
Now, let's liquidate it. If each present were around $20, each Christmas tree around $70, and the food around $150 for every 30 pounds, this would mean he would have $3 million worth of presents, $1,750,000 worth of trees, and $3,750,000 worth of food, making a grand total of $8,500,000 worth of goods.
Oh, baby, it's triple!
It's not the largest heist, but it's impressive that one guy was able to pull it off all in one night. But what is most impressive about the heist is that even though he was able to steal everything he wanted to, his intentions were never to keep it, but to just dump it all. A true spit in the face of the Whos. What a better way to get vengeance than destroying what they loved most. Or at least what he believed they loved most.
How's it taste?
What makes How the Grinch Stole Christmas a top-tier heist movie is not just because of the motive, the heist, or the outcome, but because of the outcome of the outcome. After the Grinch stole what he believed to be Christmas from the Whos, he soon realized he didn't steal anything at all. But in fact, he actually gave them something. A chance to celebrate what Christmas is really all about. A time for love and a time for caring. In seeing this, the Grinch realized another thing. That by stealing all the Whos' presents and goods, he was no better than some of those Whos who treated him poorly. That a hollow act doesn't right another hollow act. And so, as everyone knows, the Grinch returned everything that he stole, and did so without copping a charge.
He said he was sorry.
In my eyes, The Grinch will always be a great heist movie. It has the perfect amount of everything. Comedy,
Run for your life!
drama,
Santa, what's Christmas really about?
Vengeance!
heartache,
Oh, Mac. I love you.
action. And more. But even more than that, it also presents a deeper philosophy, one that surprised me and made me think. That philosophy being how the Grinch and the Whos are a duality. Without the Grinch stealing, the Whos wouldn't see the real meaning of Christmas, and without the Whos, the Grinch wouldn't be able to see his own selfishness. The one needs the other just as much as the others need the one. And on that note,